In the South Bay, a boy is fighting for his life after being diagnosed with a rare form of cancer that is inoperable and in most cases incurable. Tonight, loved ones are rallying around.
It was really hard. And it's the worst thing a parent could ever hear.
I felt like I couldn't look at him, I couldn't touch him, I couldn't hug him, because if I loved him any more than what I already did, to lose him, right there, I just cried out to God, like more than I ever have in my life. But Father, whatever your will is, I'll accept it. I have to go through it.
He's a lefty guy. Welcome to our brother Noah Stout.
For every suffering that we have in my family, we rejoice. We thank God for the trials because it's only bringing us closer to Him.
How many hours have you spent in a playground just like this? How many times did you laugh? How many times did you fall? These may seem like silly things to count, but for the Stout family, every moment, every memory became something to cherish when they discovered they might not have as much time together as they had planned.
Watch out for the big one!
Okay.
Noah, sing Mama Say Mama Sama Makusa. Swimming.
Noah Chauncey Stout. I call him King Chauncey.
You're standing?
He was a blessing. He's very charismatic. He loves to entertain. Very musically inclined. He's played drums since he was 3.
Snow angel, snow angel.
I think he's so smart. I don't want to seem, every parent thinks their kid's smart. But I mean, if he's 5, or even when he was 4, he was always very articulate.
When I was 13, I had my first love.
He's always independent, always wanting to learn things. He's always wants to learn something. Once you tell him once, he got it, period. He don't have to tell him no more. If you tell him anymore, he gets mad, because you're insulting his intelligence. Chauncey, quit jumping on those couches. How many times I tell you, get off the couches, quit running in the house, slow down, you're turning red, comb your hair, brush your teeth, turn the cartoons off, all those things, to where now I miss those things. I miss him jumping on the couches and him running outside and running around the yard. I was sleeping and he woke me up screaming, "Daddy, I can't walk, I can't walk." So we thought he hit his head, looked for the wound on his head, and he screamed. And it was a scream that, a parent knows their child, something's just not right. So we rushed him to the hospital, regional. They checked him out, CT scan. The doctor came in there, looked at my wife and I and said, I don't know how to tell you this, but your son has a fairly large tumor in his brainstem.
Discovering their child had cancer was almost more than Anthony and Michelle Stout could bear, and they nearly crumbled when they heard what doctors told them next.
We went to Stanford that night, and a team of oncologists, neurologists came in there, and they told my wife and I that, that this tumor cannot be operated on.
The doctors at that point basically told us there was nothing that they could do. They said that there's no cure, surgery is not an option, so spend time with him.
My wife said, well, what are we looking at, how much time? And the doctor said, well, with this tumor, it's so rare that you have probably 6 months to within a year. And like right then and there, everything went silent to me.
It was hard. I'm sorry. It was really hard. But then I think it was like the end of the world, and it's the worst thing a parent could ever hear.
I felt like I couldn't look at him, I couldn't touch him, I couldn't hug him. I just couldn't, I wouldn't be able to live without my son. I was so angry with God, so angry. And I'm like, man, if I lose my son, I'm done. I'm out of the church. I don't want this marriage. I'm just gonna go somewhere around over the cross seas and just whatever happens, happens. I'm in a way threatening God, But my wife, my mother, they were like, look, you need to get out of that. You need to stop that. God is closer to you now than you know it. He just wants you to come to him. He just wants you to call on him. At your worst time, that's when you need to call on God. I had to get myself together. I just cried out to God, like more than I ever have in my life. I said, God, I understand now. To finally accept your will, I was willing to give up my spirit. I was willing to give up my life. I was willing to give up my son's spirit, his life, because we shouldn't put things before God, period. That's when the load, the pressure went off my shoulders. That's when that one little level of pressure just went. When you learn to accept things like that, then your whole life opens up. God comes first. Then everything else falls into place.
In the South Bay, a boy is fighting for his life after being diagnosed with a rare form of cancer that is inoperable and in most cases incurable.
We went to mainly all of the doctors who were part of this pediatric brain tumor consortium, and all of them had the same answer: 0 survivors, no cure, and surgery is not an option. Immediately we called to have one of the deacons or the minister come to the hospital to anoint him. We were taught that's what you do. When somebody's sick, you call the elders and ask for anointing, and so that's what we've done. And we immediately said we need panata, devotional prayer every 8 o'clock. We set the time. We asked help from the locale of San Jose to help anoint Noah every day.
We prayed and prayed and prayed. We had a team of people researching cure. And we found a doctor who has cured this. Since the 70s, he's been curing people of this. I started crying. I broke down crying again. Because I knew at that precise moment that God had not left our family.
The only doctor that was said to have a 30% survivor rate was Dr. Brzezinski, located in Houston, Texas. We basically did the research and we prayed. And our hearts told us that, you know what, 30% is better than 0. Because Noah was not treated with a chemo or a radiation therapy, we had to get special approval from the FDA to bypass standard cancer treatment, or we were told that we could be sued for child negligence. We heard some of the FDA approvals take a month, or they take pretty long sometimes. Ours was approved in 2 days. I wasn't working for a while, especially when he was diagnosed, but I went back to work, and also blessed there because they worked with me on my schedule, where I work in the mornings in the office but work from home in the afternoons because they know I have to care for him. Very, very supportive. They basically told us that, told me that they would help even with the clinical trial and understanding why the insurance wouldn't pay for it.
Hey, nice.
Gianna, come here, come here.
And with God's blessing, everything started falling into place. And I'm so thankful to God for that. I'm so blessed for all of this that God has brought me through. And people don't understand the power that God has, because if it weren't for him, my son wouldn't even be here right now.
And Moonlight. And every day he became...
That's a funny name, Moonlight.
Moonlight.
Oh, Moonlight.
Moonlight.
This is a story of the power of prayer at a time when everyone who should have had the answers offered little hope. This is a story about the power of God to save not only a life, but also to refine the faith of a family. When we come back, we'll meet a whole community that was united by this story and find out why the Stouts are thankful for this experience. Stay with us. Welcome back to Stories of Faith. Through prayer, the Stout family learned to accept the ordeal they faced, and through prayer, they found the best treatment for their son. Let's see how prayer has taken center stage in their lives.
That saying, the family that prays together stays together, that's a true statement right there.
Please bless this medicine. Please use this medicine as your instrument to please heal Noah. Please continue to send into Noah your Holy Spirit and your healing power.
The outpouring of prayer is a big plus for us and our family, because that speaks volumes to God. When you have hundreds, thousands of people praying on the same thing, and for it to be about my son and his recovery and for God to heal him, that means more to me than I can express in words. I love the Church of Christ.
The cards came from different locales. Stack over here comes from Milpitas, stack from Davie City. This stack right here came from the locale of Chicago. Temple Hills, Maryland also sent us some cards. They sent some cards in the mail. It's really nice to have the support. He goes through every single one of them every time he receives one. He reads it. He knows how to read, so he's reading his cards, knowing that people are always thinking of him and praying for him. I think it's also helped strengthen his faith, knowing that there's other people that are praying for him. Especially when we were in Houston. I mean, the head deacons were driving, they lived 2 hours away from us. But they would come to see us, and we would ask, and, would you want us to meet you halfway? We could drive to the chapel. But they didn't want to. They said, it's okay, this is our duty. And they would drive the 2 hours to come see us in traffic. It was just amazing to see that.
The treatment for Brother Noah, like month by month, it just builds up like almost $7,000.
We know it was going to be hard for them, and they're already asking, for prayers and what more can we do. So we just decided to help out, raising, funds for them, for their family.
We had the chocolate-covered strawberries.
They're called stout berries.
For Noah Stout, we covered strawberries and like all different kinds of toppings, and then we actually helped raise a lot of money for Noah's treatment. And all the profits went straight to Noah.
Well, what started was with my sister Pia.
She had her own business, and she told me her idea, using her business as a fundraiser opportunity. I had my cake business, so we joined that, and we also used my mother's office as a place for people to purchase their items for the fundraiser, and we just created a large fundraiser for a few months for Brother Noah.
Hi Noah, how are you?
I think the other part that makes it difficult for us as a family is going out in public. Some people think, oh, you know, what kind of parents are these parents? Their child's obese. You know, they give us those types of looks, not knowing that he's sick. He's gained 50 pounds since his diagnosis, and a lot of that, and actually the main cause of his weight gain is the steroids. We were given 12 to 14 months survivor rate, and he's past the 12 months. He's going on 14 months. And everything we were told in terms of his physical body deteriorating is what the doctors had told us to, that we would start seeing towards these 12 months. It's not happening. You know, we're not seeing those types of symptoms.
Welcome to our brother Noah Stout.
He's a lefty, guys. Watch out. They're crafty.
Brothers and sisters, that is our beloved brother Noah Stout. Brother Noah, on behalf of the entire church, we offer you our continued prayers to you and your family. We love you, brother.
I like throwing softballs. And I like going in front of a lot of people.
How did it feel when they were cheering for you?
Good. I wasn't shy.
Hi, brother. Can I ask you a couple questions? How did it feel throwing the softball?
For us, we believe in prayer. We believe our faith is very strong, and we know that we've experienced many miracles, and that's what's very encouraging for us, especially for Noah. You know, his faith is so strong. I really believe that he's really gifted, because for a 5-year-old, you know, we have devotional prayer every night at 8 o'clock, and most recently he's been wanting to lead those prayers every day. We usually rotate, you know, the family, or he'll pick somebody, and he's been volunteering every day.
Yes, Father. Don't let tumor down. Please, Father. My ventricles not to be bigger.
Yes, Father. He has strong faith. He's very prayerful. You know, when he goes in for his surgeries, like his shunt surgeries, I'll tell him, you know what, don't worry about it. Always remember that, you know, God's with you. He's not going to leave you. So don't be scared. His eyes are closed and you can see his lips moving. And, you know, for a 5-year-old, I think that's pretty amazing. You know, and that's why I think he's so special. I think he's really gifted with his faith.
Lord God, that some of your children are sick, we ask you, Father, to please continue to heal us. Continue to give us the life and the strength that we need.
When you pray, what do you pray for?
To heal my sickness. God makes me brave.
There were 2 kids that was used by God. They have the courage to get down in the water to find my daughter.
Welcome back to Stories of Faith. Sometimes the greatest lessons are learned through the most difficult experiences. A few years ago, one of those experiences struck the Rosen family hard. They witnessed God's willingness to rescue his children, and they learned firsthand about the power of prayer.
Every parent's dream is expecting a new bundle of joy. When Mila and Noemi first heard those two heartbeats, they instantly fell in love. Twins share a special bond with each other. From the moment of conception, they shared everything. Lisa and Diane were inseparable. But what if the person you spent every moment with, your best friend, your sister, your twin, was all of a sudden taken away? It was a hot summer day. Family and friends gathered for a pool party.
Well, I remember that it was a friendly get-together at one of our sisters' houses, and everyone was having fun, and I remember that we were mainly just watching the kids. I was just making sure that nothing bad was happening.
The adults are watching the kids, and Lisa and Diane are always together, but for some reason we noticed that Lisa is by herself, so we started asking, where is Diane?
My mom asked me where was Diane. I told her I didn't know.
And then I ran outside looking for her. I know she's somewhere, but I can't say where.
Everybody were looking for Diane all over the house, inside the room, outside the house, in the neighborhood. Except for one place, we didn't go and look inside the pool.
There were two kids that was used by God. They have the courage to get down in the water to find my daughter. And by the help of God, Diane was found and was brought to the surface.
I was one of the people who helped resuscitate Diane. And as a critical nurse in my years of experience, the body that I saw that got out of the pool is lifeless. But as a member of the Church of Christ, I have the strong hope that nothing is impossible to God. That's why we didn't give up and start doing CPR on her.
The most of us, they were thinking that my daughter was already gone.
During the CPR, it feels like time stood still. Everybody were praying, and I myself, during the CPR, I was praying to God, please help us, please bring Diane back.
I remember praying so hard, and after one prayer I would just pray again. It was just a continuous cycle.
I just bowed down and asked God, asking him whatever he wants. Yes. Just whatever he wants, I will give it to him. And all the things that he wants shall be done.
So everybody was, it seems they're in despair that we lost Diane already. But to me, I know God answered my prayer right away. Because after I gave my 2 full breaths that I almost passed out after that, Diane was able to cough out and she was back to life.
Little Diane was rushed to the hospital. Her condition was so severe that she had to be transferred to a more specialized hospital and was admitted to the pediatric intensive care unit. Unable to breathe on her own, she was placed on a respirator fighting for her life. Doctors said she may not make a full recovery and may suffer permanent brain damage. Still, Diane's loved ones never gave up hope.
I went by my sister's side, praying to God that she would be back with us once again.
I know that in her young heart and in her young mind, she believed already the power of prayer because she saw what happened.
Despite what doctors expected, Diane made full recovery without any complications. Diane was back to her normal self.
And with our family, it made us more closer to each other, more prayerful, and more faithful to perform our duties and responsibilities in the church.
Diane also knows the answer to life's problems.
God will grant your wishes if you continue praying to Him and have strong faith in His church, especially me back then. Everyone prayed for me, and the power of prayer, God heard them and grant the wish that I would be still with Him right now.
Because they are members of the Church of Christ, they know the importance of the power of prayer and having faith in what God can do.
Prayers, as God said, can move mountains. It will help us to be strong, to be united, to be brave, and to be bold with everything that we do if we pray to God always.
You've just witnessed how these lives may not ever physically cross paths, but are now linked simply by their stories of faith. I'm Cynthia Van Schemelhout. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.